Man, I was sitting there yesterday and I randomly started laughing. And I think we've all experienced this before, where you go through something funny earlier on in the day, and then you're kind of reminiscing about it at like the evening or the afternoon, many hours after the event took place. And it's so vivid that you kind of just start chuckling and laughing again over the whole matter that you experienced hours before. So last night, I'm just sitting there. Nothing happening, by the way. I'm just reading a book. And I just start laughing. And it was all about when Joe Biden was creepily leaning into the mic and like this close from the reporter's face. It's just like being weird. And then I don't know if this is self-aggrandizement or whatever the hell it's called, where I was talking about the mic being an ice cream cone. And Joe Biden tried to take a bite out of the mic thinking it's an ice cream cone. Anyways, I started laughing my ass off again right before going live. I don't know what it is, but yeah, I do make myself laugh a lot. Oh, God. Did anybody else find that funny yesterday? I didn't look into the chat logs, but did anybody else think that was funny too? Yeah, sniff, sniff. See, it's genuine when I'm telling you these stories because I'm still laughing about it. It's so funny. He's so messed up, isn't he? Alrighty, well, shoot. I had to share that with you guys. Okay, well, good morning, everybody. If you're new here, welcome to the Bald Brad Show, where we go over a bunch of different news. We have a main theme, a main topic that we start off with at the beginning, and then we spiral into a bunch of different stuff so that you're prepared either going into your next podcast or throughout your work day, and you kind of get the gist of what the hell's going on around here, not just domestically, but foreign. So the big news yesterday was peace talks between Ukraine and Russia over there in Istanbul. And while Putin did not budge, hey, there's my hat. Putin did not budge in Ukraine peace talks. Now, Donald Trump may be forced to act. So here we go. And some of these negotiations, or in terms of what Putin wanted, were just not even realistic. And, one of them, some of them are like, oh, don't ever join NATO. But it was basically kind of some of the negotiations we had with Japan in a way. And it's very loosely what I'm about to do here and connect them to. But it was like basically you need to demilitarize a bunch of zones. You need to basically shatter your military, not to the point where you don't even have one. And obviously, that's a little bit silly because what's stopping Putin from going in and invading Ukraine in the future? And without a military, well, you're just see you later. So Russia and Ukraine are still as far apart as ever, with the two warring countries unable to make a significant breakthrough in direct talks in Istanbul. This goes against what Donald Trump was saying. So I don't know what's going on with Trump. And again, I'm not trying to beat him up too much here, but the man is telling us one thing, and out there in the open yesterday is a completely different thing. Now, I'm going to build a case for Trump. I don't even think this is true, by the way, but I'm going to build a case of what maybe was happening. Maybe. They were close to peace negotiations, peace talks. And Trump said, hey, you know what? We're about to get this thing finished. I think it might happen. Well, when you got people during a ceasefire allegedly lobbing missiles at each other, that kind of goes out the window real quick. And then you got Zelensky putting forth his 8-month plan to utilize drone strikes on these bombers the day before peace talks were to happen. I would say a lot of things could have fell through then. Not exactly sure, but my gut instinct tells me these peace negotiations were never even close. And I don't think Trump's getting this resolved. I don't think it's happening. Not with what Putin wants. No way. While there was agreement to exchange more prisoners, Moscow and Kiev remain deeply divided over how to bring the costly and bitter Ukraine war to an end. Mind you, this is a CNN article, and I'm actually agreeing with them here. Russia has shown itself to be particularly uncompromising, true, handing Ukrainian negotiators as a memorandum restating its Marxist hardline terms, which would essentially amount to a Ukrainian surrender. There you go. That's kind of a very polite way of saying what I just said. Expectations were always low for the Kremlin's compromise, but Moscow appears to have eliminated any hint of a readiness to soften its demands. The Russian memorandum again calls on Ukraine to withdraw from 4 particularly occupied regions that Russia has annexed but not captured, a territorial concession that Kiev has repeatedly rejected. I think that part of them losing a portion of Ukraine has always been within the talks. That one's not any new to me. I don't see Ukraine, if there was peace to be had, walking away with this with all of their land. I don't see that taking place. I don't think many of you think that would take place. I think they're going to lose a good substantial piece. It says Ukraine must accept strict limits on its armed forces. That's what I mentioned. Never join a military alliance, host foreign troops, or acquire nuclear weapons, which the foreign troops, nuclear weapons, that one I think is an obvious one. But never join a military alliance or restrict its armed forces. That's just, see you later, Ukraine. You might as well just, basically surrender. It would be Ukrainian demilitarization in its most hardline form, unpalatable to Ukraine and much of Europe, which sees the country as a barrier, there you go, against further Russian expansion. Remember, you got Poland right there on the border of Ukraine. Other Russian demands include a restoration of full diplomatic and economic ties, specifically that no reparations will be demanded by either side and that all Western sanctions on Russia will be lifted. That one's interesting because that's not even necessarily up to Ukraine, but Putin knows that Donald Trump and United States, as well as European Union, Western countries, have their hand in the mix here. And I would say after these peace negotiations and seeing how far apart they are, I say that Congress, because it's bipartisan right now with the sanctions they want to put in here, or I should say the 500% tariffs or something like that, something bonkers. Let's just do it. And I said this the other day. I said this actually last week. Just put it in. I've had enough of this crap. I think everybody has. I think we've all had enough of this crap watching these two go at it. Russia's the one that invaded. Russia, you're the one that gets the, bad end of the stick here. I'm tired of just playing nice guy, whatever. Screw them. Let them figure it out. So put the sanctions on them. Like, I want the max amount of sanctions on Russia. It is a Kremlin wish list that, while familiar, that's a good way to put it, by the way. That is a very well way to put it. And mind you, this is CNN again. I can't believe this. This is like one of the greatest articles they've ever written. It is a Kremlin wish list that, with familiar, speaks volumes about how Moscow continues to imagine the future of Ukraine as a subjugated state in the thrall of Russia with no significant military of its own, no real independence. This uncompromising position comes despite 2 important factors which may given the Kremlin pause. First, Ukraine has developed the technical capability to strike deep inside Russia despite its staggering disparity of territorial resources. The stunning drone strike recently targeting Russian strategic bombers at bases thousands of miles from Ukraine is a powerful illustration of that. You got to give it up to Zelensky. I'm not a fan of the guy. Actually, I really don't like him at all, but pretty well-crafted strategic military move. Got to give him that. And you're targeting specific military installations. You're not going after civilian areas. Love that. Now, there is no resolve here. This is going on for a long time, which is sad because now a lot of people have to die because you got an idiot over there in Russia named Putin, a psycho that just wants to take over Ukraine for virtually no reason. Now, people go, well, there's reasons. Come on, man. Obviously, there's reasons. Don't be stupid with me. You understand what I'm saying when I say they're going after land. Whoop-de-doo. Wow, a bunch of freaking soil. Is soil worth millions of lives at some point? Not in my estimation, it's not. But maybe in some sort of psycho estimation for others, they think it is. It's always easier to sit behind our keyboards and write a bunch of stupid stuff than to be in the trenches, taking grenades from drones, taking, lobbing fire missiles, whatever, freaking everywhere. It's a lot easier. You're not sitting there in the cold, freezing your ass off. You're sitting in your nice heated house. You don't have to fight these wars. It's always the liberal white women. You notice that? It's always the leftists, just these overweight, blue-haired, half-shaved head, castrate their own genitals, liberal white women in the suburbs, always talking bleep behind the keyboard when they're the ones that never have to go fight a war. They're the ones that aren't part of the draft. They're the ones that never have to go. But boy, oh boy, they'll be the loudest people making sure that you're all in the trenches going, your ass better be out there. Yeah, It's always the same people. I don't like war. I don't want war. I want people to get along. I want everybody to thrive and prosper. It turns out that's a really tough thing to do in the world when there's a bunch of evil psychos roaming around. It's really tough to get along with a psycho. You can. Oh, it's possible, but you never know. You never know when they're just going to go psycho on you. Secondly, and arguably more dangerously for Moscow, the Kremlin's latest hardline demands come despite U.S. President Donald Trump's increasing frustration with his own Ukraine peace talks. Again, Ukraine, it seems, has some cards after all, and it's using them effectively with those strikes. Now, the problem is it's very hard for Ukraine to strike inside Russia because of the capabilities that they lack. They lack that range and that capability because they would have to receive weapons from either some sort of Western country. The moment they start receiving our types of weapons that would be able to be long range into Russia, from my understanding, would lead to, and some of you put in the chat, World War III. And that ain't my words. That was Putin's words. That's what Putin wants to do. So I don't know what's going to happen here. By the way, I don't even know if Trump's going to be like, all right, you know what? I'm funding Ukraine. We're sending them money. They're getting all the money they want. Very well could happen, by the way. I don't think that's going to happen. I think the European Union needs to be the one that's going to step up here, not us. I'm kind of tired of funding everybody's stuff. I'm tired of funding our own stuff, to be quite honest. Money here, money there, money everywhere. It's like Oprah Winfrey's episode of giving everybody free stuff. So you also have this coming out. Russia responds to Ukraine drone attack on bombers muted as warring nations hold direct talks. So it's been very quiet. You guys, I had to do some digging here to see if I could even find a statement from Russia after these drone strikes. I thought there was going to be something within the first 24 hours of these drone strikes on Russia. Nothing. Now, I don't have an article for this. Before I get into this article, I just want to point out, man, it's tough. It's really tough sourcing this stuff for you guys right now. I'm not trying to be like, oh, well, give me a pat on the back. That's not what I'm saying. There's so much fake stories out there. There's so much lying. There's fake video. There's fake quotations. It is very tough to source things right now for this specific event on or what will be the retaliation of Russia on Ukraine. Man, it is tough. So I'm trying to make sure I give you guys the most factual stuff I could possibly find. And that when I pull up an article, it isn't like this is the only thing I found. It's me being able to corroborate it with other articles. And I'm like, okay, fine. This should be good. We're just going to use this one article to talk about this one thing. If that makes sense to you guys of where my logic is at on presenting you guys this information. All right. So I just want for anybody that's going to go out and do their own research, just be very careful again, like I said yesterday, with all the stuff, man, that's being posted on X and social media. A lot of it is just all wonky and quite frankly BS. So here we go. Ukraine's shock drone attack on Russia military air bases, including some deep inside Russian territory, which President Vladimir Zelensky said was secretly planned and coordinated from inside Russia over the past 18 months, seemed on Monday to have left the Kremlin speechless. Yeah, because they literally didn't say anything. And everyone's looking around like, are we going to get something from them? Or retaliation, any sort of like something? Russia's state-run media, here we go. Russia's state-run media cited the country's defense ministry as saying, this is the only article I want pretty much out of this whole thing, as saying Monday that forces had struck Ukrainian drone production, launch, and storage sites, and claiming to have shot down hundreds of Ukrainian launched drones over the past 24 hours. But there was no direct public response from Russian authorities to the Ukrainian strike. So I guess there was some sort of retaliation, and the retaliation was, again, going after this. But there was no video, not that there needs to be, right? No video, nothing really taking place. And usually if you're going to bomb some storage sites, they must have been out in freaking nowhere in Ukraine, because everybody's grabbing footage of these bombings and these strikes that are taking place inside Ukraine. Maybe I'm just missing the video, but man, I've really combed through a lot of stuff. Haven't really seen it. So we'll keep you up to date. If you're not following me on TikTok, you got to be over there. Now, I am taking a lot of my TikTok videos and I'm posting them on YouTube as well. So you'll be up to date with what's happening with the Russia-Ukraine war, along with I'm posting videos about Japan gearing up for war. If you're not familiar with that, oh boy, I've talked about the China collapsing. Folks, we're averaging over 123,000 views per video. Now, that's an average. It doesn't mean every video is doing over 100,000, but it's popping off, man. It's getting bonkers over there. So let's go to at least what X is talking about here, and I'll show you some of the stuff people are posting that's, man, I'm not so sure. So this is the top post here with the Russia-Ukraine war, and this person says, and this is kind of the trending part, I am from India and I stand with Russia. Now we want to see the final destruction of Ukraine. That's a pretty crazy statement to make and to also post on social media. I don't want the destruction of anybody, by the way. I don't want the destruction of, I can't, I mean, other than maybe terrorists, obviously, but not of like land. I even speak that for Gaza. I don't want to see the destruction of the Palestinians. I don't want to see the destruction of Jews. Why is that so hard to say for people? Like, why would you want to see an entire country wiped off the face of the earth? I don't know. Maybe he means destruction by Ukraine no longer being Ukraine, a part of Russia. I'm not exactly sure. But they're talking about Russia's new missile system being shown. Now, here's the thing where I don't even know if this is legit. Well, obviously, the stuff's legit. But I mean, in terms of happening right now, because I remember seeing this footage a long time ago of these missiles and, you know, getting ready for a parade, or, you know, they transport them down the street. They do the same thing similar here in Southern California, not necessarily with missiles, but I live near a lot of military bases, a few of them. And it's not uncommon to see military personnel pulling out, and they launch the ships there off in Seal Beach, where they, you know, the weapon stations over there. So they, you know, put the weapons on the ships out there. It's not uncommon to see. So there's that. And then there's this here, and this maybe goes into what took place of what we were just reading. Ukraine's SBU security service behind the audacious drone attack deep inside Russia now says it has attacked the Kerch Bridge in occupied Crimea in a month-long operation. It looks like 1,100 kilograms of TNT under the water. So it looks like this is maybe legit. Again, there's so much footage that you're almost not even really sure. And then we got another angle of it right here with a photo. So there are things that are taking place. The problem is trying to source and see if it's legit or not. This is one thing that's a little bit of older news, I suppose. It's coming out now. But there was rumors and sprinkling of information that was coming out yesterday about bridges and stuff being attacked in Russia. So I wanted to make sure that I at least throw that at your face and get you familiar with that. But other than that, I don't really have much other news unless you guys know of something I don't. But that's pretty much everything in terms of the Russia-Ukraine. It does look like that bridge attack is in fact legit. The Crimean Bridge, a strategic link between Russia and the annexed Crimean Peninsula, was attacked for the third time by Ukraine's security service. So there you go. That's 15 minutes ago. So that's the most up-to-date stuff. So thank God your boy was right. It looks like I do have my head on straight every now and then. All righty. Now, something else other than the Russia-Ukraine war that's really been trending and that a lot of people seem to be talking about is trans issues. Now, we used to cover this stuff. I've always mentioned back in the day quite a bit. Mind you, you guys don't realize, but we've been covering a lot of domestic stuff here. But when I'm talking about domestic stuff, I'm talking more like political. I don't really look at the trans issue, or I didn't used to, as being political. It was kind of this thing that was going on. I don't want to say under the radar, but it wasn't really impacting everybody as much. Well, now it is. And I used to cover this stuff in the education field. I also used to cover cultural stuff a lot. We used to talk about Disney all the time and movies and stuff. So if you're like, whoa, why are we getting into this? I'm actually used to getting into the culture side of things, trans issues, LGBTQ plus stuff like that. So that's what we're going to get into now. But I would like to, over the summer, as we start delving into next Monday, by the way, multi-hour streams in the morning. Again, starting Monday next week, we're going multi-hour streams as long as I can last. And if anybody tries to make a couple-minute joke, I would really appreciate that. You can only last 30 seconds. You can't last hours. Bullshit. But Monday we're going multi-hour streams to make sure we get through all the news. But a part of that is me wanting to get into culture, get into the movies, maybe do some reaction stuff for you guys, pull up some trailers, and have some fun with it. If you can't stick around the entire time, that's completely okay. But that's what we're going to cover. So here we go. Male dominates girls track at California state finals despite Trump threat. This is, let me say, very close to home. They're talking about this on our local radio. And if you think this does or it doesn't have any effect on you, it 100% does. Some people always write in via email or sometimes in the comment section. It doesn't have to be on this video. It could be other videos. Q, that's what she said, 3 minutes tops. I'm glad that you gave me 3 minutes. That's really polite. I always say California is like the guinea pig, the testing ground of these psycho liberals pushing some sort of issue upon the rest of the United States. We're the starting ground and kind of seeing what the effects, how do people take it? Will they give up their liberties and freedoms for this stupid idea? And it doesn't have to be trans, by the way. I'm just speaking broadly. And they go, okay, wow, people can put it in other states and other localities, even if it's a red state with a blue locality. Let's do it there, and maybe it will branch off because people move and psychos move. Well, a male athlete named A.B. Hernandez took multiple state titles in girls track and field over the weekend in California, sparking protests on both sides of the issue after Donald Trump threatened to cut off federal funding to states if local officials did not block Hernandez from competing. Hernandez beat all female competitors in the high jump and triple jump, taking 2 golds. In the long jump, the athlete took the silver medal. So kudos to the girl who beat out the guy. Good for her. In response to the controversy surrounding Hernandez, the California Interscholastic Federation piloted a new policy, check this out, at the state tournament to make sure that any females who finished behind a biological male would be appropriately rewarded a medal based on where they placed among female competitors. Check this out. So basically, from my understanding, is let's just say that dude, that male, that biological male that thinks they're a woman and they're not, you see that big bulge sticking out of their pants. If they got first place, they technically don't have first place. The woman, the actual biological female, is the one that gets the medal as well, and they get first place. So you got 2 first place winners. Now you got to ask yourself, what's the point then? I don't know. I really don't know. But this whole idea of men transitioning, you remember that movie Ladybug? I think it was Ladybug with, oh God, what's his name? Rodney Dangerfield. And I forget the boy actor. He passed away really, really young. Phenomenal actor, really sad event. But I think it was called Ladybug, and it was a soccer movie. God, it must have been in the 90s. And he dressed as a woman to be in a women's soccer tournament team and just completely obliterates them. And everyone, it was a comedy movie. We used to think it was funny. Like, oh my God, can you imagine that? Can you imagine a guy just dressing up as a woman and playing it off and getting away with it and destroying the entire league? And here we are. Things that we grew up with that seemed outlandish, right? That they would make movies on with Rodney Dangerfield. God bless his soul, man. The guy was hilarious. Old school comic. Now it's mainstream. God, it's just, things are so ass backwards, aren't they, folks? Isn't it just really wild? And by the way, the reason why I'm not looking at the camera is because your chat is over here. So that's like me looking at you guys. I guess I could look at you guys like this all creepily. I'm Joe. How you doing? I'm Joe. You got any ice cream? God, you smell good. All right. Demonstrators expressed themselves over the weekend with people holding LGBT themed material or Save Girls sports signs. As highlighted by Fox News, an LGBTQ protester was arrested, for allegedly attacking a pro-girls sports activist. Jeez, now it's getting out of control. That was reported by the Clovis Police Department. And I think Clovis is up north of me. California Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom has not commented on Hernandez beating the girls and winning 2 gold medals over the weekend. Of course he hasn't. Of course he hasn't. He has bigger things to do, like running a podcast. What do you mean? He's not running the state. Of course he's not. You think that idiot's running the state? The guy doesn't even know how to ad correctly. He can't even budget correctly. I love this. that Democrats always, and I'm talking about left Democrats, because you get the normal Democrats here in the state of California, and they're actually really pleasant to talk with. I'm talking about the left Democrats whenever I'm talking about Democrats, like the far left people, the psychos, the ones that want to lop off your child's genitals, the ones that don't want to tell you about it. These are the ones that work in the education system that want to secretly trans your kid without you knowing, or at least get them involved in the LGBTQ activism without even the school knowing. I'm talking about those kind of psychos. The kind of psychos that want to give drugs to homeless people so they don't impact the hospital system, the ER system. Those types of psychos. So I don't need to go down a laundry list of things that classify somebody as being a Democrat psycho, but I'm talking about those specific pool of people. These people, I don't even know where I was going with that, but these people allow this stuff to happen in the state of California. And, oh, there we go. Gavin Newsom and the Democrats voted in Gavin Newsom, and they will continue to do so, for a guy that doesn't know how to budget. And it wasn't just him. AOC doesn't know numbers. Ilhan Omar doesn't know numbers. A lot of that party, for some ungodly reason, which is kind of odd because they always claim they're the most educated party, right? Well, you guys don't have any educated people. Well, at least we know how to budget our own checkbooks. At least we know how to reconcile them. At least we know how to add and subtract. You guys can't even budget correctly. You guys can't even write down numbers on paper and add them up to the point where now we're in debt, but we're also deficit. We got to freaking borrow money from people because you don't know how to properly budget something. And I always say Gavin Newsom isn't the example. You have everybody in Congress over there that doesn't know how to do math properly. Folks, you don't get to set, what are we at, $37 trillion, and you know how to do math properly. It just ain't possible. These people are idiots. And some of them are Republican too. Republicans are idiots as well. I'll throw my hat in that mix. They're all idiots up there. We're not beholden to these people. We're not beholden to a party, folks. Screw them. They're the ones that are screwing us. So we might as well give them the middle. If they want to give us the middle finger, we'll give them two right back. And if I could do my toes, I would show you. But, there's some freaks in the chat. I'm not really sure which one it is, but it's somebody. Is it Dizzy? Dizzy, you're always my punching bag because you could take it. I love you. But we got more here. Trans-identifying male runner wins girls' Washington State Championship race again. Oh, but Brad, I thought you just said that it was just California. We don't need to go over California issues. I've been talking about it for 4 years now, folks. I've been saying the same thing with illegal immigration. I said it's coming to a state near you. And I specifically remember for years, a lot of you weren't around for this. So you just got to take it as good faith. For years, I had to listen to comments and videos. I had to get emails from people, even when I would live stream. I'm so tired of you talking about California issues. Illegal immigration is not coming to my state. I'm not a border state. I had to listen to this crap for years. And I sat there and I took it and I said, you guys just wait. You wait, it's coming. And now I get to bask in me being right, sadly. So now this is Washington State. The trans-identifying male high schooler who dominated last year's girls' Washington State Track High School Championship did it again over the weekend. Veronica Garcia, 17, snagged his second state title in 2 years when he won the girls' 2A 400-meter race on Saturday. Oh, goody. In a video of the race, Garcia can be seen crossing the finish line with a healthy lead over the second-place runner. Garcia, who runs on the girls' team at East Valley High School, won the race last year with a record-smashing 55.59 seconds, close to his time this year, 55.75. Oh, so let's just see what this, can we see what something like that looks like together? Let's see what that looks like together. Here we go. Yeah, I would say it's a pretty healthy lead. I would say not even close. Jeez. Yeah, no big deal. No big deal. Just crushes the competition. Nothing to see here. What's the big deal? Garcia was heckled and booed by the crowd both before and after the race. I think we need to bring back some sort of bullying a little bit here because maybe it'll set people straight. One man wearing a shirt that read "Save Women's Sports" shouted, "Let's go girls, girls race." This is an issue, by the way, that is really nice to cover because Democrats actually agree with us, you guys. I understand we're a lot of independents in the chat. There's a lot of Republicans and conservatives as well. But what is nice is surrounding this trans issue, especially men and women's sports, they actually agree with us on this. This is something that's bipartisan, baby. There's a good swath of the Democrat Party that actually agrees with us on this. And so it's really unified. But what you're seeing is how strong of a voice the left really has. I have a conspiracy theory out there, and I think a lot of you tend to agree somewhat with it, is there's some psycho elites out there that have a lot of money. And these psychos are really far left, and they want to do harmful things to your children. They've always wanted to do harmful things to your children. This is like some Jeffrey Epstein type of evil stuff. These are the same people that will use money to take children and kidnap them and sell them off into forced labor. That's the conspiracy theory I'm talking about. And I think there's people funding these media outlets. I think there's people funding all this stuff, these NGOs, with this evil, gross money. And they're giving them the loudest voice, even though they're the smallest group of people. There's no way that stuff like this gains traction if something like that wasn't happening. And what I mean by something like that, even if it's not some elite, I'm talking money. Somebody's pouring money into this cultural uprising of this men and women sports thing. And it's crazy to me that it's getting this kind of traction when the vast majority of Americans don't want it to happen. Something nefarious is going on because it's not normal. It really isn't normal. I just want to make sure I give you guys a shout out in the chat. I see you over there, both on YouTube, Rumble, and X. Appreciate you. If you could hit that like button, I would really appreciate that as well. If you're not following us over at TikTok or any of the social media platforms, what are you doing? You got to go follow us over there. It does help me out if you watch my videos, and it allows us to grow. And also, if you're looking for a good place online for news, something that's really helped me kind of source some things out is Truth Social. So if you're looking for stuff online, news that's trustworthy, like some good discussions and entertainment, then check out Truth Social. That's Donald Trump's social media website. You'll get breaking news, stories, and commentary from top media figures. If you want to see Trump's legendary Truth Social post himself before it gets outsourced to everybody else, well, you got to head over to Truth Social. Then get on Trump's Truth Social today. Slurred my words. I promise I'm not drunk. Join a growing community of patriots on a free speech platform designed to avoid censorship and cancellation by big tech. Make your voice heard. Join the movement. Join Truth Social. I am over at Truth Social. I do need to use it more. The issue that I'm running into with such a great site as Truth Social is I got so many others that I need to utilize, but Truth Social is one of the best, truthfully, to get your news, discussion, entertainment, folks. So make sure you go at least download the app so you're familiar with what not just Trump is saying, but big figures in the Republican Party. Highly recommend it. My issue, again, is I'm only one guy, and trying to post everywhere is just really, really difficult. And unbeknownst maybe to some of you, most of these entertainers, influencers that you see, that's not really them posting on social media. They have actually a person designated to do their social media posts. And I can actually give you an example. Like the Daily Wire, for example. Now, at times, is it the real person? Sure. At the Daily Wire, there's a man called Andrew Klavan. Phenomenal writer. I love Andrew. Actually, I love everybody at the Daily Wire. I'm a big fanboy of them, which is why we cover Daily Wire articles all the time. Michael Knowles, who you're all familiar with, I'm sure. Michael Knowles' job when he was first hired at the Daily Wire was to run Andrew Klavan's social media before he was even ever a host. He was just a guy in the background working for the Daily Wire because his personality lined up and the way that he talked and wrote lined up with Andrew Klavan. And they said, hey, we would love for you to write on his social media and act like you're him when he's busy and he's not able to keep up with everything. We would love for you to take over his social media and post stuff and do things like that. So just be aware that sometimes when you're looking at people, it ain't them on social media. It's some other dude that's playing it off as them. It's kind of messed up. I will say whenever you see me on social media, if it really is me, by the way, it really is. And the reason why I say if it really is me is what I'm starting to see now that we're gaining traction is people are starting to impersonate me. So make sure you guys are careful about that. If you ever want to make sure that it's me actually talking to you, email me at thebaldbradshow@gmail.com. Links in the description. I will never sell you guys anything. I'm not going to reach out and say, buy a hat or give me crypto or weird stuff like that. That ain't happening. If I'm going to sell you something, it's through the show here, like me saying, hey, go to my website. I just want to be clear. I don't want anybody to get scammed or anything weird like that. You guys, I will always continue to say this. If you want to make sure something's me, like if I'm actually selling you something, I don't even care. Take a screenshot and email me. Do not give anybody your money. Just email me and I'll be like, that's fake as shit. Brad, wasn't you calling me last night? Shut up. Don't we have the best chat, man? That said, this bothers me. My granddaughter is a star on her track team, which happens when she gets to college. Exactly. It affects people. Well, and it doesn't just stop. Here's a crazy thing. It doesn't just stop at college bets. Unfortunately, it doesn't. There's a thing called the Olympics. And thank you so much for segueing me and helping me there. I love that. We were right. Oh, I got goosebumps. I have goosebumps. Let me see if I can get on camera for you. I can't. Look at those hairy arms. Jeez, look at that, huh? I'm like a bear. All right. We were told we were conspiracy theorists. I know, we're used to it. We're being told conspiracy theorists all the time. It just so happens we're always effing right. COVID, the Russia hoax, the whipping of illegal immigrants with the horse reins. I mean, the list goes on and on, really. Come on, give me a break. This right here. Y'all remember this? This was a story. We covered it. It was mainstream. Well, if you're on audio, I just rub my hands together because we're cooking, baby. Leaked media report of Algerian boxer chromosome analysis reportedly reveals the fighter is a male. Oh, gee, what was that giveaway? Was it the jawline? Was it the masculine facial features that women can have, to be fair? Was it the huge shoulders and bicep muscles that are bigger than Dizzy's thigh? Is that it? Is it the chest? Well, I can't. Okay, I was going to call somebody out in the chat for having a flat chest, but I don't know any of you and if you have a flat chest or not. So we'll kind of move past that one. That was a flop. That was my bad. Yeah. I'm trying. Don't come at me. Not everything lands, okay? We're shooting from the hip here. The International Olympic Committee permitted this individual, this male, to compete in the women's Olympic boxing at the Paris Games last year. Again, huge news. Despite failed gender tests in 2019 and 2023, I mean, how many times you got to fail a test to realize, yeah, that thing that's swaying between the legs, that you hear the balls clapping? Yeah, maybe that was the test that we should have ran, right? Just do one of these. Where am I at here? Yep. Oh, sorry, 1 second, folks. All right. You're there. You're running the test. Just give them a little flick right there. Just see what happens. That's all you have to do. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. Just a little tap. I know the guys right now are like, you got to hear me. For those on audio, I grabbed the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters. You're right. You're going, Brad, what the hell's going on right now? I can't see. I am holding up the post-date Marshmallow Man, or where the hell he's called. And I'm flicking him in the balls with my finger. The reason for that is, that's the true test. If you're a man, you're going to react. And I'm talking, if you're not sure, just get it right on one of the testes. Just boop. It doesn't have to be much. You could probably go like this. And boy. Now, here's to be fair. I don't know if this person actually has testicles, but their chromosome is male. Chromosome analysis reveals male chronotype. The test was administered by Path Labs in New Delhi back in 2023, which was the same year the International Boxing Association disqualified this individual for failed gender tests. Well, there you go. The medical report was first published by journalist Alan Abrahamson. What a name, huh? What was that? What the fuck? Anywho, conservatives online were quick to react to the latest report, arguing that it was obviously this individual is not female. I mean, yeah, everybody's posting about this. To all the people who insisted this person was a woman because his passport said so, you were wrong. We were right. Activist Riley Gangs posted on X on Sunday. Why do we have to call her an activist? Why? Because she's going out and speaking on behalf of this? I guess, maybe. But I just think she was an athlete that was pissed about what took place and is taking place. I'm not so sure she's doing activism. She's, I guess the word, this is where people get really silly. And this is what always has bugged me. Well, I mean, by definition, she really is an activist. She's really going out on behalf of the movement. Okay. All right. Sincerely, people with functioning eyes and shred of honesty. Yes, but the problem is that the left doesn't have that. The left thought that Joe Biden was coherent. The left thought that Joe Biden was sharp and fit. They thought he was the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's remarkable. Harry Potter author and outspoken female rights activist J.K. Rowling commented too, writing, I never said and never believed this person was trans. I knew he was a man. See, people just know. You could just tell. I mean, right here. Take a peek. Just who what am I doing here? Here you go. Jeez, I thought I had it up. That's what she said. Oh boy. All right, give me a second. I like that one. That one was good. I thought I had it up. Yeah. So did this trans person. Which one's which? Just if you had to look in like this area here, I'm not saying that's always the metric. Of course it's not. Of course it's not. Now you could say somebody stuffed their bra. Sure. I guess that's a thing still, maybe get some toilet paper in there and soak up the sweat, but yeah. All right. Now, just like Beth said, my daughter's in track and field. What's going to happen when she goes to college? And I said, it doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop there. The shenanigans continue, I guess, into professional stuff too. Well, sometimes you come home from work and you're just tired of the crap. You're just tired of all the stuff you deal with at work. And some people are rolling their eyes at me and perked up a little bit because you have me in your ears at work right now. Whether you're sitting down in your cubicle, you just got your ass chewed out by your boss, you're dealing with just a terrible coworker. We'll keep it at that. You just gone through the ringer and you come home and you're like, shit, I don't want to deal with the kids. I'm just going to put them in front of the TV. And you walk away thinking, what could the problem be? It's just a kid's show. They're not going to indoctrinate my kid. How could they? It's just a kid's show. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Right? Like Rugrats, Ren and Stimpy, which turned out to, I guess, to be really racist. I didn't realize. But I'm saying this because Sesame Street is in the news. The iconic PBS show targeting toddlers now. Here we go. We're back with the crap again. And I told you they're going as young as 2nd and 3rd grade in some states in the education system. I covered it. New Jersey was the example that comes to mind. 3rd grade, giving them cartoons. They're showing them cartoons in the classroom. I love this because a lot of you weren't with me 4 years ago, which no big deal. Takes time to find somebody great, doesn't it? Just kidding. But you weren't with me 4 years ago when I used to go hard in the paint on this stuff. New Jersey, I think if I remember correctly, 3rd grade was showing people, and we showed you the video, we're showing people cartoons in 3rd grade on how to masturbate. In some of these elementary schools, they were showing them how to use butt plugs and dildos. Now, if I remember that correctly, it's been years. It could have been a high school that was doing the butt plugs and dildos, the sex toys. But definitely the cartoon one was the elementary school. And we showed it. And they had a comic book too that had it too. It's just disgusting. These people are sickos, man. These people are sick. They're going after your kids without you knowing. I keep saying this. If you have a kid in school, I don't give a shit what grade they're in. They're going after your kid, man. You have an educator right here telling you what more source do you need? It's fucking first person. Now, at my institution, that stuff doesn't happen. But in public, it does. 100% it's happening at your school. If you want to turn a blind eye to it, that's on you. Somebody's doing it or has done it at that school. It may not be happening this year. May not have happened the previous year. Could have happened the freshman year. There could be an underground club happening at your school. The administration, if you call the administration going, hi, this is Kathy. Yeah, this is blah blah blah's mother. I'm drunk. I'm sorry. I've had too much. Is there a club out there that's for pride that's indoctrinating kids? Of course they're going to say no. Some of them aren't even aware of it, by the way. You got to get on campus, folks, and see what the hell is being taught to your kids. Not kidding. I am really not kidding. I've been so for having 4K cameras, like 8 of them in my classroom. I want full mic'd up stuff. I got nothing to hide. I have nothing to hide. I want it all out there in the open. I got no problems because I don't look, if you're doing something nefarious, of course you want to hide. I ain't doing nothing nefarious. I want it out there in the open. Usually I want it because either your kid's acting up and I want a 4K snapshot of it to see if you think this is acceptable, but also you catch kids cheating left and right and you could zoom in. I mean, the most crisp thing you've ever seen. And I would take the time out of my day to cut video all day long going, that's bullshit. There's a detention. That kid's out of dress code. That kid's doing that. And boy, oh boy, I'd be slicing. I'd be the best editor. I'd hire somebody. I would hire a part-time editor just to slice up video and start sending it left and right. Well, on our street, everyone is welcome. Oh, let me start over again. I didn't even start the article yet. What the fuck am I doing? Jesus. Brad, shut the fuck up and get to the article, you clown. Jesus, I didn't even start it yet. You guys, when were you going to stop me? When were you going to stop me? That's how nice you guys are to me. Yeah, just fucking let him go. Brad's off on another tangent again. Just let him be. He'll come back sooner or later. So we're like, I'm going to go grab a cup of coffee. I'll be back when he starts the article. Shit. God, I love hanging out with you guys. I really do. I'm dead serious, man. I'm lucky. Yeah, you guys are great. All right. Enough of me. Enough of me being nice to you guys. All right, Sesame Street, the live action puppet show that has appealed to toddlers and some of you in the chat and young children on American televisions since 1969. Some of you were around when that came out. Once again, celebrated Pride Month with social media posts on Sunday. Here we go. On our street, everyone is welcome. I bet you that street is painted in rainbow colors. Together, let's build a world where everyone and family feels loved and respected for who they are. Well, it's tough to respect and feel loved when you're trying to nefariously target little kids. It's really tough for me to get behind that. Leave. Come here. Patriots, if you want to grab a cup of coffee real quick, please do so. This isn't for you. It's not for you. It's for them, the crazies. Come here. Come here. Shh. Okay. So you got to calm them down, right? Because they're crazy. They're irate. You got to bring them down to a level by stroking their hair. Shh. Okay. Democrats, the lefty ones, the psychos. That again, I have to be careful here because the Democrats do agree with me on this. The lefties. Your ponytail's on too tight. All right, gentlemen? Loosen it up. Leave. I'm going to say it clear as I possibly can be. I'll even look at you. Leave the fucking kids alone, you freaks. Leave them the fuck alone. God, man. All right, we're back. Commercial break is done. Shit, now the donos are coming in. Dizzy, appreciate it. It's been a while. Saving up for a new brain. Love the show, Brad. Thanks, dude. I appreciate it, man. It's always good seeing you. And by the way, follow Dizzy on TikTok, folks. The guy posts good stuff. I keep saying it. The guy riffs, man. You got to get out there and follow Dizzy on TikTok. It's good stuff. Comics Dad channel with the $1. Thank you so much. Minnow app is where it is at. Educational and teaches scripture and faith. There you go. My 5-year-old loves it. Good alternative exists. Again, that's the Minnow app. MINNO app. So everybody, you can check that out. Educational and teaches scripture and faith. There we go. We need a little bit more faith in the household. We're clearly not getting it on Sesame Street or anywhere else. So I love that. Thanks for the heads up on that, Comics Dad. And also, again, congrats on being part of the creator program. Always loving seeing a fellow creator in the chat. Streamcat says, please leave our children alone. Enough is enough. There you go. Is it Streamcat or Steamcat? So tiny. That's what she said. Coon says, happy Title IX. Yeah. Oh, maybe I need to cover this topic more. A lot of you are getting antsy in the chat. I like it. Where are we at here? Happy Pride Month. The official Sesame Street X account wrote above a photo of puppets joining hands to show a rainbow of colors. Remember when this stuff used to just be designated for those that are actually adults? Remember there wasn't, you remember the good old days when you used to go to a nice parade? I'll come back to this in a moment because I got a clip to show you. Remember when we used to be able to go to a nice parade and you didn't have a guy pelvic thrusting, you know what I mean? Pelvic thrusting in front of your kid's face and his pee-pee was hitting your kid in the face like that. You know what I mean? That's like a 45-year-old guy that's obese, maybe 250 pounds, wearing just a one piece, but it's like a Speedo, you know what I'm talking about? And it kind of wraps up in like overalls and it's like going through his butt crack and he's just pelvic thrusting in front of your kid's face. Remember the good old days? We didn't have to deal with that. Remember when you could just walk down the street and you didn't see men dressed as women? Do you guys remember? Man, the good days. It was simpler times. You know how every generation always says that? I'm only 36. Some of you are like twice my age. God bless you. But, you know, it was simpler times. And I'm not even going back that far. Just easier times. Remember when you used to go to the bar and you didn't have to worry about, because, you know, some of these men really pass off as women. I mean, some of them really do. Like, what are those called? Those Thailand boy things? Oh, God. Some of you know because you're freaks. Some of you are going to know what the hell I'm talking about. There's like is it Vietnam? It's some place around the world. There's these I think they're called lady boys, if I have that right, that are Asian men that are dressed as women. And they totally pass off some of them. It's effed up. But you used to go to the bar, you know, you're young, you know, the hormones are juiced, you're having a few brewskis, you get behind a few, you're drinking a double IPA, you're about 5 in, they're 9% each, you're just completely shit-faced, and it's dark, and you're fucking like, you're having a good time, you're grinding up against something, you're feeling it, right? And you realize, or you don't, it's dark, that you think it's a hot babe, you know what I mean? You think you're just really, you think you're hitting a 10 and you're really going at it. I'm talking, you're really grinding because we used to freak back in the day, right? We used to freak dance. And then the lights come on, right? You're walking out thinking you got something. And this is what it is. Oh, shit. It's Edgar. It's Edgar. It's a man. It's a man. So you can't have the freedom anymore. You know what I mean? You used to be able to grind up on somebody at the club knowing that they were a female. There's no way in hell a man would dress as a woman and fool you. Not anymore. Not anymore. I guess it's Japan. Of course, Drag would know. the person named Drag, FJB, who's a longtime supporter, by the way. Appreciate you, man. I always see in the chat. But you would know with that name. Of course. Of course. The Matrix was right. The 90s were the peak of human civilization. Dude, I actually agree with that, man. The 90s just hit different, dude. I'm gonna start crying. It's true. Okay, this is more of a Friday episode thing I'm doing. Let's get back to this. I love hanging out. This is why we need multi-hour streams, man. All right, stop it, Brad. Let's go. Sesame Street also ran a segment on a girl and her 2 fathers cooking last year during Pride Month. We're just gonna sit and have the kids watch a little bit of Sesame Street. What could go wrong? We all grew up with Sesame Street. I know I did. I grew up with a lot of these shows. Didn't it, though? Right where I'm at. Right there. That is what you would expect somebody to dress up like that's part of the LGBTQ community. And to be fair, I mean, people say the same thing about me, right? They see the American hat. Somebody actually commented on TikTok video last night about it, believe it or not. Said, oh, well, judging by your hat, we know what you believe. What, that America is the greatest country that's ever existed? And that I love to have my freedom and liberties. I wouldn't move anywhere else in the world. This is the best place that's ever existed. Then sure. But isn't it amazing how Republicans have capitalized on the American flag? Who would have thought? Who would have thought? That I will claim this territory all day, baby, all day. By the way, if you're wondering how, I'm not gonna get into that. That's a Friday episode thing. Let's continue here. Well, they're doubling down. I got more. I know you're like, Brad, you really have more Pride stuff? It's Pride Month. Oh boy, and they're going full blown. They're targeting your kids. And you might think, okay, look, I get it. They're doing it in the school system. They're doing it on television. They're doing it in the Olympics. I can't have my kid watch TV anymore. You know, me and my son, we're going to go have an old school father-son night out. Me and my dad used to do that. We're going to have a father-son night out, and it's going to be a blast. There's nothing more Americana. There's nothing more manly, except for hockey, by the way. Hockey's way more manly than football. But getting into this, there's nothing more manly than going and getting a hot dog and a brew with my 5-year-old son, or 10 or 20, doesn't matter. And we're going to an MLB game, baby. We're going to be watching baseball. Old Americana, just crushing balls. Here we go. I really hope there's people that are able to catch on to some of these jokes that I'm writing in real time, by the way, and I'm coming up with. If you didn't laugh at the fact that we are talking about gay issues, LGBTQ trans issues, and I just made the segue into something being manly, and that they're going to be crushing balls, I don't know what more I could do for you. That's a hell of a written joke at 7 a.m. I pulled that out of the top of my hat. I do it for you guys. You deserve the best. And I'm telling you, I'm going to say this again, and you know it to be true, because I send and I raid you to other content creators. There's nobody that has this entertainment in the morning. It doesn't exist. One, there's not enough shows in the morning. And two, there ain't anybody bringing the energy I fucking am. Let me tell you, I've looked for it. And I'm bringing the weirdness to you. I'm in your ear, speaking sweet nothings like Joey. All right, here we go. Doubling down, 29 of MLB's 30 teams celebrate Pride Month. You can't even go to a game anymore. You can't even go to a damn game and just... By the way, sports was created, just so you know, historically, if you were to look this up, sports was created as a pastime to get away from the things of the world, to just sit back and veg a little bit. That's why, truthfully, many of you know that I referee ice hockey on the side as like a gig, make pretty good money out of it. But after playing for 20 years, over 20 years, ice hockey myself, and then also reffing ice hockey, truthfully, I don't really want to come home and watch more ice hockey. I don't watch that much NHL stuff. And if I do, I usually just kind of watch the highlights on YouTube now. I've been getting more into actually baseball and football. I don't mean to hound you guys. Look, I love that you guys love basketball and baseball. That's fun. It's fucking slow. Okay. You sit out in a field, you don't do shit all game. You sit there and you bask in the sun and you hear people chirping at you. It's not a tough sport. NHL players go out and hit home runs all the time. Hate to tell you, it's not hard to throw a ball into a glove. We all did it as a kid. If a kid could do it, it's not that difficult. Some of you are getting really upset with me. Obviously, it's difficult. Okay, chill out. But it's just a sport that you can veg on. You know what I mean? You don't have to think. You can have a beer. You can be completely wasted and still figure it out. You know what I mean? Go try to watch a hockey puck on the TV wasted. Now, I don't have an issue because I played for a long time, but I don't care who you are. Go watch a hockey puck on TV or even in person, completely trashed. Let me know how that works out for you. I could watch a baseball trashed. I could watch people standing around trashed. In what some expect to be a tamed down Pride Month this year due to companies and organizations ditching diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is true, by the way, the MLB is going full-blown LGBT festivities. They are leaning into it. They told everybody, hey, just a heads up, during Pride Month, we want you to wear the tightest pants you possibly can so your nutsack is showing to all the fans. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to get really crafty camera angles. And I want to see the bulge sticking out of those pants for all the gays out there. While the list of MLB teams promoting Pride Month on social media has grown smaller from 2024 to 2025, 29 of the 30 teams in the league will still celebrate the LGBT lifestyle with a Pride Night this month. From Atlanta and Kansas City to Cleveland and Phoenix, Pride Nights all around are coming to nearly every major league ballpark, as every team in the major leagues except the Texas Rangers has scheduled an LGBT celebration during the month of June. Oh, isn't that fun? Isn't that fun? Folks, who watches sports the most? Is it men or women? Is it men or women? Please let me know. It's men. I already know the answer. It's men. Now, do you think men want this stuff in sports? No. And if you're curious, I'm also just as strict with this stuff, even for the NHL. I've gone as far, and I never was in the military. My grandfather and father were, and obviously everybody has friends that were in the military, got a lot of support for the veterans. I'm going to go as far as I don't even think we should have a veterans night. I want to go watch a hockey game. I want to watch a baseball game. That doesn't mean we can't have somebody stand up like, hey, you know what? They're the ones that, we're right standing for the flag and we want to give respect for the blah, blah, blah. I don't need all these nights where it's like veteran nights or America night, or I want to go watch a damn baseball game and get away from politics, get away from everything on the outside of the world and watch a damn game. Leave everything out of it, please. Even as an athlete, as somebody that used to do nights, not pride nights, but special themed nights, I hated it. You got to put on a fucking different jersey. Then you got to stay afterwards because there's fans that want to come on the ice because they auctioned off your jersey and now you got to give them a signed jersey, a game-worn jersey. I know they're all excited about it, but how about we just give them a real jersey that we normally wear so I don't have to stand on the ice for, after I just got done playing a 3-hour game, and give them a jersey that's something that I don't even really need. I'm not against it. We used to do breast cancer nights all the time, every October, and you'd wear a special themed jersey for that night that people can auction off, and then you stand on the ice, and then you get to meet the fan and you shake their hand. I did all that, which is nice, but I want to leave all this stuff out of sports in general. That's all I want. I don't think that's that difficult, but some people find it difficult. Let's do one or two more articles, and then we'll be done. We'll wrap this bad boy up really quickly. Education Department celebrates Title IX month, ditches Pride Month. Here we go. We're going to end off on some good news here. President Donald Trump's Education Department has declared June Title IX month. It's not Pride Month anymore. I think it's Title IX, right? If I'm getting that correctly. In recognition of the 53rd anniversary of the historic legislative passage, the department will spend June highlighting the Trump administration's actions taken to protect female sports and spaces, as well as reserving the weaponization of it that took place during the previous administration. The festivities offer a stark contrast to the Biden Education Department's Pride Month. There you go. So they're changing Pride Month and swapping it out. The Daily Wire also first reported the Education Department's official civil rights is launching probes into high-profile cases that developed under the previous administration, one in Colorado and the other in Wyoming. In the first case, the Education Department will investigate the University of Wyoming for allowing a male into Kappa Kappa Gamma sorority chapter and letting him live in the female-only campus housing. The guy's a genius, dude. Infiltrating a sorority house, probably showering with these women, watching them running around in their panties and lingerie. The guy's a fucking genius. The guy said, I'm going to capitalize on this movement and I'm going to go rogue. I'm going to say I'm a woman. I'll grow out my hair. I don't care what I have to do. I get to see hot babes walking around a house practically naked. Sometimes their lingerie and bras and stuff are see-through. And the dude is roaming around the house watching all this. The guy is a freaking, well, it's scummy. Don't get me wrong. It's really scummy and it's gross. But you get what I'm saying. The guy's a genius. The guy just gets to see titties and ass all day. And good titties and ass. The guy is a genius. You almost don't want to blame him. And then he's, it's probably showers left and right. The guy's partying it up with bottles, right? He's always shaking the bottles, you know what I mean? And then he's always spraying it all over them. You guys see where I'm going with this, right? We're doing a whiteout night. Everybody, we're doing no bras, white shirts, and champagne popping bottles, right? What was that thing back in the day they used to do? Isn't it, was it Girls Gone Wild or something like that? I remember seeing some ads on the TV channel when I was a young kid. Where it's always doing like wet t-shirt contests like spring break. The second case here, Colorado's Jefferson County Public Schools is under investigation for assigning students to share overnight accommodations with other students that share a student's gender identity. That one is crazy. I mean, they're both crazy, but that one's really crazy. The Daily Signal previously reported the school system assigned a young girl to share a bed with a trans-identifying boy on an overnight school trip. Jeez. And she likely would have been pressured into sharing his bed had her mother not been present on the trip. That is bonkers. I told you stuff's happening without you knowing. Now they want boys sleeping with your little girl on these freaking trips. Isn't that nice? Psychos, man. In a press, remember, again, I'm gonna go back. Remember, going back to the 90s, the peak of civilization. I agree. We didn't have to deal with this. Used to be able to go to 5th grade outdoor science camp, segregated cabins, males and females. You didn't have anybody going, I'm trans. I need to be here. I need to be in the same bed as this person. You didn't have any of that shit. You just went and you kicked rocks with your buddy. You played in the snow without gloves. You did some stupid stuff. You maybe burned down a few things. You had a good time and you got out of there. You don't have that anymore. Brad's going to say he's a woman. He's coming out. He wants the world to know. He's going to let it show. Yo, it's a remarkable thing, man. That guy, I'm going to go back to it. I know it's gross. Look, the guy's a perv, right? The guy's a perv, obviously. But in terms of being like joking, it's still a pretty genius plan if you're a straight guy to go in to a sorority with hot babes. And you're walking around all day seeing basically these, because, some of these sororities, man, are just 10s. They're just 10s walking around all day, just everything you'd want. You know what I mean? And the guy's walking around and he's just seeing titties, right? Just booty everywhere with it's just, but guy's probably living the dream right now. if he's a straight guy, But anywho, enough of the jokes, enough of the satire. We will be back here later today, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for Dark MAGA. It is only for premium Rumble members only. So again, it's only for Rumble premium members only. We need to make sure we get our hours in. Usually later on in the month, it'll be open to everybody. But I'd really love for you to join me nonetheless, where we go over more long form video. You get to act spicy because we put on the hat, and you get to really say whatever you want in the chat because it's restricted to Rumble. If more than ever, if you wanted to really get it out, that's what she said. Now would be the time later this evening because it's restricted. So with that being said, booty sweat. With that being said, I look forward to seeing you all in, I would say a few hours, but a little bit more than a few hours. Thank you for having fun with me each and every morning. And, well, we'll be back here a little bit later today. Take care of one another. Pray for this country. Pray for Donald Trump. Pray for all these wars to end. And folks, I'll see you a little bit later today, if not tomorrow morning, here on the Bald Brat Show. Take care, Patriots.